Back out here live at Ellington Field, from natural disasters to campaign stops, let's connect the dots on Houston's past presidential visits. Houston's no stranger to presidential visits, but why has the leader of the free world come to the Bayou City in the past? Let's connect the dots. The last presidential visit was President Trump. He came in 2019 for an appearance with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi at NRG, and the two populist leaders drew a massive crowd. Before that, President Trump paid a visit in the wake of Hurricane Harvey. But during that stop, his role was less campaigner and more comforter-in-chief after the devastating storm. Presidential visits to Houston are not always public events. In recent years, presidents from both parties have had another big reason to stop here: money. Presidents Obama and Trump made visits here to raise big bucks for their parties. One of the most famous presidential visits is also the most bittersweet. President John F. Kennedy stopped in Houston on November 21st, 1963, the day before he died. According to historians, no official motorcade was planned in Houston because the president was concerned no one would show up. But 75,000 Houstonians lined the streets as he headed to the Rice Hotel. The popular president running for re-election spoke at a fundraiser and made an impromptu stop at LULAC, where Jackie Kennedy impressed the crowd with her Spanish. Of course, we will have complete coverage of President Biden's visit to Houston on KHOU.com as well as on our KHOU 11 News app. We'll have highlights later on air. Live at Ellington Field, Brandy Smith, back to you.